What's up, Grace Girls? Welcome to the Allow Yourself Grace podcast, where we focus on helping Black women change their lives by discarding negative thoughts, pivoting in the right direction, and shifting their mindset through cultivating a trauma free lifestyle. I'm your host, Courtney Christten, educator, content creator, life coach, counselor, and mental health enthusiast living in Houston, Texas. I created the Allow Yourself Grace podcast because I wanted to create a space for Black women to share their thoughts, feelings, and stories that make them who they are without fear of judgment. Allow Yourself Grace provides emotional support and encouragement within the Grace Girls community for women in need of non biased opinions from women other than family and friends. Personal development, self care, career, faith are among many of the topics we will discuss on this platform. Allow Yourself Grace podcast is here to encourage Black women to live unapologetically and thrive in being authentically who they are and were designed to be an entire vibe. No topics are off limits. We will cover it all. Now, grab a notebook, pen, sit back, and enjoy the show. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Allow Yourself Grace podcast. Yes, your girl is here by herself today, and I just have a word to drop to you guys today. And I just want to thank everybody that's been tuning in to the podcast. The podcast is growing. We've had some phenomenal guests on this season, and there's going to be more to come. And we're just going to be doing a little mix and match. So, some of the episodes I will be doing by myself, and then some I'm going to bring on guests because you guys seem to be enjoying both, which I love. So, I'm going to continue to do both until, I see otherwise. But the analytics are showing that you guys are kind of loving both. And so, I love both. And I am just excited and ecstatic to have all of the new listeners. Also, if you guys remember, just please share the episode with a friend. And if you're watching it, just go ahead and tag us on IG at AYG underscore allow yourself grace. So let's get into the episode. So today we're going to talk about letting go of perfection and choosing progress. Because I think a lot of times we try to be perfect. We want everything to go smooth. We want nothing to go wrong, all things to go perfect. And unfortunately, life just does not work that way. And so we have to have the proper tools and resources in place when things don't always go as planned. Because when we enter new situations that we haven't been in before, sometimes it's hard to navigate, right? Because you feel like, man, I never been in this space. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to call. I don't know what resources are out there for me. And you get depressed, you get lonely, you get upset, and you feel like you're not really progressing. Okay, you're not progressing because you're striving to be perfect, and nobody's perfect, guys. Nobody's perfect. Today's quote for this episode is: grace is giving yourself permission to be a work in progress. Grace is giving yourself permission to be a work in progress. And that is what the Allow Yourself Grace podcast is all about. It's all about allowing yourself the space to make mistakes, allowing yourself the space to grow and become the woman or the man, if you're listening, that God has designed and equipped you to be. And things are not always going to be perfect. And the thing about perfectionism, it comes in disguise. It looks like overthinking, procrastinating, fear of failure. All those things are
perfectionism because you are disguising it. That's what it really looks like. It's disguised because you're putting things off. You're overthinking about every little thing. So, say you get an idea about something that you want to do, or you set a goal. Before you even start to put the goal in motion or to try to execute the goal, you're already just sitting like there thinking like, okay, what if this goes wrong? And what if somebody doesn't do this? And what if this happens? It's always the what ifs that keeps you from taking the action. All of those things are just a disguise for you trying to be perfect. Or you're like, oh, I want to wait till I have X, Y, and Z in place before I begin. And you think you have this strategy and you have this plan. And then when it doesn't go that way, you quit. And I want us to get into the mindset of things aren't always going to be perfect, but as long as you're making progress, that's what matters the most. Give yourself grace. Allow yourself that grace and that space to grow. And you will start to see more progress. You will start to look back and see how far you've come, how much you've grown throughout those seasons of your life. Focus on the quote, right? Write it down. That's what you should be looking at every day. Grace is giving yourself permission to be a work in progress. Your affirmation should be I am a work in progress. I am allowed to make mistakes. I am allowed space to grow. Those are all good affirmations for you to say every day. And even if it takes you writing them down, like writing them on your mirror. I've talked about this before, but taking a dry erase marker and writing your affirmations on your mirror, writing them down in your phone, because most of us look at our phone every day. These are things that you should be doing. Getting back to how you disguise perfectionism, it shows up in your everyday life, whether you're a parent, whether you have a business, in relationships, in your personal goals. All of these things force us to want to be perfect. And I always hear, especially parents, for example, you guys like to say that parenting doesn't come with a manual, and it doesn't. And no one's the perfect parent because most of the time you're parenting based off of experience, based off of how your parents parented you, based off of what you saw around you. And that's not necessarily always the right thing. And so it forces you to come to a realization that, man, what worked for me may not work for my kid. And you have to change that. And so you go into something with the idea of, you go into parenthood with the idea of, I want to be a perfect parent. You have everything planned out. You've had the baby shower. You organize all the clothes. You have everything. You think you have a system. And then your baby comes and you're like, okay, this system is not working for this baby. Life is like that. It's the same thing. It's like you have to figure out what works for that baby in that particular situation. And it's the same thing when it comes to your business, when it comes to your marriage, relationships with family members, friends. Like, you cannot treat everyone the same way because it just does not work that way. You can't have the perfect relationship or the perfect marriage because nothing is perfect, but striving every day towards a progress is what makes it all worth it. Okay, because you want to look back and see, like, man, I've grown. Man, our relationship has grown. We've had trials. We've had bumps in the road, but ultimately we've made progress and we've grown. And so that's the space that you want to be in. So I want to use me for an example. So, as you guys know, I've mentioned this. I think I mentioned this when I first started my podcast. I have started writing my book. My book is pretty much done, but I'm like reading through some things and there's some stuff I need to work on. So I told myself this week that, okay, you need to start finalizing the last chapters because that's kind of where I'm at. I'm in the last couple of chapters. And it's like, you need to start finalizing the last chapters because there cannot be another year where you're like, "Okay, yeah, I'm not ready to put it out because it's not I don't know what everybody's gonna think, or it's not up to my standards, or, oh, I need to go back and change this." It's like, it's never gonna be perfect, and, when I read books and I talk to authors and study all the greats, they all say the same thing. It's like, they're either gonna write another book or they feel like they could have added more to the book, or there's something in that book that they felt like they left out or they would like to go back and change. And I think that's just human nature, to put a project out there or to do something and everybody else is giving you all the accolades and celebrating you and telling you how perfect it is and they loved it, and you being the person who is the creator or the person who has put it out there, you're still critiquing yourself even after people are telling you like, I loved it. And so I think we have to get to a space to where we say, man, there's always going to be something I want to change. There's always going to be that little voice inside that says, man, this could have been better, but I got it done is where we need to be. We need to take out the could have and say, I did it. Like, I did it. Not I could have. It's done. And that's hard for us sometimes. It's hard for us to come to a space where we're okay with our work. We're satisfied. That is like so hard. And I know I'm not the only one. I know many of you can relate. It's like when you put something out there, you're your hardest critic. Everybody else is like, this is good, this is great, it looks great. And you're just like, yep, it could be better. And it's like, man, are you serious? You work so hard. And so I think we have to grow to get to a space where we say, hey, pat yourself on the back. You did that. Like, we have to celebrate those things because progress is what matters the most. Perfectionism, if you're striving for perfectionism, you're never going to get there because nobody's perfect. And everything that we do could always be better. Yeah. But is it great? Yeah. A lot of times it's really, really great. Like, you did that. So give yourself credit and learn to be okay with making progress because some people aren't making progress. They're standing still. And as long as you're moving and you're taking action towards those goals, you're taking action towards working on relationships that are important to you. You're trying to be a better parent. You are working on growing your business. You are setting goals constantly and knocking them out the park. That's all that you can really ask for as a human being. Let's shift the perspective from perfect to present. Let's talk about not only when we think about being perfect or think about striving for perfectionism, sometimes we're so busy trying to be perfect that we forget to be present. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes we're so busy trying to be perfect, we forget to be present. And so, what that does is it keeps us from enjoying those moments that we should be enjoying, those things that we should be celebrating. It stops that. It stifles our growth a little bit because what perfectionism really is something that keeps you handicapped. It keeps you in a space of always being in your head, always imagining yourself somewhere else instead of being present in the moment. Think about that. We go from trying to be perfect to not being present. And when you're not present, you're not bringing any value to yourself or to the people around you. And I want us to reframe the narrative that progress is still movement. Progress is still movement. There's three practical mindset shifts that needs to happen. These shifts need to happen. Done is better than perfect, because I just talked about that with my book. It's like you need to get this done. Like it's never going to be perfect, but are you getting it done? So let's think about those goals that some of you have on your vision board. It's like some of the stuff you may have started on, but you're just not finished because you're like, I need to perfect this, or oh, I need to do this now. And it's like, when are you going to drop everything and say, okay, I got to get this done? We're going to focus on getting things done because this year is passing by so fast. And if you think about all the years, they pass by so quickly. It's like, man, this time does not wait for anybody. I put out something on social media the other day that said time is of the essence. Like, if there's something that you want to do, you need to do it now. So that progress, those strides towards getting these things done, it needs to happen now. We can't get back tomorrow. And I was sitting the other day and I was really, really resonating on that. It's like we take our time for granted. We take our time for granted, but these days they don't come back. We can't go backwards. And so it is imperative that we embody every day, that we wake up and we take charge of our day, and that we own our time, and that we take the time to do the things that we really want to do, because we can't get this time back. I look at all the older people in my family, and as I get older, of course they get older. And you look at like all the years that you guys had when you were younger and you didn't think about how important time was. And now you see people grow older, they're getting sick, they can't do the things they would normally do on their day to day for themselves. They need a little extra assistance. And it's like, we're all going to get to that place. And you have to make sure that when you get to a space where you can't do the things that you can do now, that you are satisfied with the space you're in. You don't have any regrets, you don't want for anything. You're kind of content with where you are. And I want to pose the question to you today. Are you content with where you are? If your life was to stop being, I'm going to say, active, like if you couldn't be active and you couldn't do the things that you have the opportunity to do every day at this moment when you wake up, how would you do things differently? Would you be content with where you are, or would you have regrets? Would you have things that you wish you would have done or should have done or could have done? So the challenge is just get it done. Just get it done. Don't worry about it being perfect. Don't overthink it. Just jump in there and get it done, because we are focusing on making progress, not being perfect. The next mindset shift that needs to happen is you being okay with allowing yourself to make mistakes and still be worthy of being blessed, still be worthy of having a good life. Because sometimes that's all it takes, is us allowing ourselves to mess up and believing that we are worthy of having good things. You're worthy of having good things. Maybe you didn't grow up with good things. Like you didn't grow up with um two two parents. Maybe you didn't grow up with having everything you wanted, or having a choice of the foods you wanted to eat. Maybe you grew up where you're like, man, I want to change my life. Maybe you grew up in a situation where you wouldn't ever want your kids to be, and you feel like, man, I don't think I'm worthy because right now my life is not any better. It's kind of the same. I feel like I've been in the same space for the past few years. I want you to know that you are worthy of having good things. And the only way you're going to know if life can get better is if you take chances, if you start making moves. That's the only way you're going to know. And allow yourself the space to make mistakes and to fail because you're human. And that's how things are. And that's why when you need strength and you need guidance, that you should seek God. You should seek guidance from Him before you make any moves. That can prevent a lot of the mistakes that you make. Okay, by having that extra guidance. But also, too, I just want you to know that it's okay because we're all human and we all make mistakes. Number three is celebrate the small wins. They are building blocks, they are the steps to achieving that ultimate goal that you want to achieve. To getting to that space that I talked about is when you're getting older and you get to that place where it's like you can no longer physically or mentally do the things that you used to, that you're okay because you've celebrated along the way, you've achieved, you've most importantly done things, you've completed things, and right now you're okay, and you realize that all those things were the the steps to get you where you are, and that is to be at peace. Okay, because there's going to come a time where you can't physically or mentally do the things that you can do now. And so my challenge is again for you to simply, number one, accept that nothing's perfect. Number two, give yourself grace, give yourself the space to grow and make mistakes. And number three, give yourself permission to be a work in progress and not perfect. Reframe your thinking. Let's talk about what it really means to choose grace daily. It should be a daily practice. It should be a practice that's embedded in your routine, just like getting up, combing your hair, and brushing your teeth. Let's identify a couple ways that you can allow yourself grace daily. Let's talk about. So, for example, there's going to be days where you feel like, hmm, this goal, I thought this was what I wanted, but this may not be it. It's okay to change it. Don't feel like because you've started on a goal that you just have to see it through. Like that's our thing on here on allow yourself grace is change, pivot, and shift. If you need to do any of those things, do it. And don't think twice about it. Don't overthink it because that's that perfectionism we were talking about. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Just do something different. Dare to be different. It's okay. So get up and change the goal. Change the goal and get to work on the next one. Grace, it leads to increased confidence and clarity. So when you realize that you are human and that things aren't perfect and that when you mess up, you just need to start over and keep going, then life is going to be great. It's going to be great because it's like, okay, that happened. I got to shake it off. I got to move on. What's the plan for today? Because I can't dwell on the mistakes that I made yesterday. I know this is not going to be my last mistake that I make, but I got to push through because I got other stuff I got to do. And so when we develop that mindset of nothing's going to stop me, that I know I messed up, but I got to ask for forgiveness, I got to move on, and I got to keep making progress, then life will be great. Like it's going to be good, sis. You'll be great. And remember to keep the confidence of I can make this happen. And things will become so much clearer because a lot of times our vision gets blurred because we're trying to be perfect. And there's no way that little old you can be perfect. And when we embed that in our minds, when we affirm ourselves daily, then we're able to move forward and go be great and celebrate along the way. We're going to keep saying that. Celebrate along the way. I might say that in every episode because it's so important for us to celebrate what's happening that's good because we have the tendency to focus on the bad. We have the tendency to just be negative 95% of the time, which is so crazy to me. When you really in reality are the shit. Like you got some good stuff going on. And so pat yourself on the back. You're great in your own right. Don't get caught up in trying to be perfect, but be so embedded in trying to make progress. Let's recap a few things. Number one, your mindset shift has to happen. Okay. The mindset shift has to happen. Number two, allowing yourself the space and grace to grow. And number three, affirming yourself daily, making grace a part of your daily routine. Those are going to be the keys to you overcoming the spirit of perfectionism, trying to be perfect, the spirit of overthinking, the spirit of doubting yourself, the spirit of fear. No, I can't talk today. The spirit of fear of failure. Those are the things that are going to be key to you making progress. Now, to end the episode, I want you to affirm yourself. And so I wrote down a couple affirmations. I am worthy, growing and evolving. I release perfection and embrace grace. One more time. I am worthy, growing and evolving. I release perfection and embrace grace. All right, guys, that is it for this episode. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please, please, please do not forget to follow us on Instagram at AYG underscore allow yourself grace. Make sure you guys start to drop comments as well on YouTube, on the Allow Yourself Grace YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed. Hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time we drop. Guys, I have some good stuff that's coming. The Allow Yourself Grace journal is coming along with the book as well. And so get excited for that. And I'm saying these things out loud for me. So this episode is not only for you, but it's also for me because that spirit of perfectionism can sometimes stop and stunt our growth. And I know I can't be the only one experiencing this. And I want you guys to just focus on the progress and focus on being present. And that is where I'm at. in this space. If you can relate, make sure you comment down below, interact with me a little bit in the comments. I do look at the comments. So also too, leave me a review if you are listening to this on Apple or you're listening to this on Spotify. I would love to hear a review. And 5 stars, preferably. Let us know what topics you would like to listen to and hear in some of the upcoming episodes. And so, again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you, love you, love you. And I will see you in the next episode. Peace.
Well, guys, that concludes our episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Allow Yourself Grace podcast. For additional information about today's episode, please click the link in the show notes below. To learn more about our Grace Girls community and other resources we have to offer, head over to www.allowyourselfgrace.com. Until next time, Grace Girls, I love you all, be blessed, and continue to strive for success.